Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Flight Simulator X. And, well, here we have it, the Ju-87 Stuka. This is a legendary German aircraft slash dive bomber that made a radiation siren sound that goes whenever it dives. And that sound is famous in a lot of things. It's famous in movies and videos and all kinds of shit, and now it's in a game. So this airplane is also a frickin' Steam Workshop's aircraft, so that means you're gonna have to take a little bit of cash out of your wallet if you want to get the sucker. So, you know, it's up to you. If you want to buy this plane after watching this video, be my guest. But, you know, I'm just here to talk about the plane and fly it for you folks. So, here we have it, Ju-87 Stuka, built in 1937. This aircraft was used all the way up from that time to the end of the Second World War, and now there is absolutely none of these aircraft airworthy on the planet. There is just a few of them sitting in museums collecting dust. They cannot fly again, which sucks. But you know what? We can try to relive that right here. I'm pretty sure a couple people have, you know, restored them or made a model of one and flew that around. Like Guy Gibson, he built a Spitfire from the ground up. So, you know. Well, actually, no. He took a Spitfire that was buried in the sand in Dunkirk because, well, the guy crashed and, well, because he was shot and then he crashed. The plane was buried in the sand, and then years later, guy found it, built it back together, and then boom, Guy Gibson Spitfire. Check it out on YouTube. So, here we have the base model of the plane. I chose the yellow nose scheme, because why not? So this aircraft initially could carry up to about 5 bombs, but usually they'd only carry that one big mother hubber right there, unless, of course, you got a long distance trip. Now, this aircraft, being a dive bomber, it also has your rear gunner. So this plane had a crew of 2, a pilot and a rear gunner. The rear gunner position actually looks pretty cool. I'm going to just jump in there right now so you guys can see what that looks like. So it's pretty cool, actually. So it is a closed space, so you're not going to have to, you know, really worry about a whole, well, you know what, no, I take that back. You're going to have to worry about a lot of things in here. You're also sitting behind the radio panels, which I sadly cannot tinker with, which is sad, because I want to tinker with them, but I can't do that. So, yeah. The gun does not move, it does not work, you cannot touch it. Well, you can touch it all you want, but it's not going to do anything. But it's still pretty cool. It looks awesome in here, like the design is just, oh, it's lovely. So, let's jump into the actual cockpit seat. So, here we go. Now, the windows are tinted. Like, I mean, hella tinted. Like, when I first got this, I thought that there was something wrong with my screen until I realized, oh, wait a minute. These are tinted windows. So, don't be fooled by thinking that your screen's got a problem. It's just the tinted windows, guys, okay? So don't worry about that. Okay, so before we get the airplane started up and flying out of here, let's do some basic kind of, well, it's general characteristics, because you know how I am. I like telling you guys about this plane. Well, not really about this plane, but, you know, I like telling you guys about airplanes. Sort of. Depending. But, I usually give all my aircraft general characteristics or just a bit of background history so you guys know what we're flying and what we're dealing with here. Because, you know, you gotta know, because I just like giving history out, because it's fun. So, let's get to the aircraft's characteristics. So we had crew 2, your pilot and your rear gunner. So the aircraft was about 36.5 feet long, had a wingspan of about 45 feet. The aircraft was about 13 feet tall. Its max takeoff weight was, well, pretty surprising. The aircraft weighed about 9,560 pounds, but that's usually because of the bombs it's carrying. So it's basically, you know, it's almost a 10-ton airplane, but it flew very fast. Its empty weight, though, without having any bombs or anything on it, would be about 5,980 pounds, so still pretty heavy-ass plane. Okay, so the power plant was one Junkers Jumo 211 Da V12 interverted liquid-cooled piston engine that could produce about 1,200 horsepower for takeoff. This aircraft could also reach a total altitude of about, I think these aircraft could fly at around 36,000 so odd feet, so around like the same height as the Spitfire could, because these guys would have an air mask on and all that kind of stuff. But for your diving, the aircraft would end up diving probably around 4,900 feet. That's usually the usual spot, either that or 10,000. 3 blades. The aircraft's maximum speed was about 211 miles an hour. Its cruising speed was 130 miles an hour. And the aircraft's rate of climb was about 450 feet per minute. So that's that. And for the armament, which I also forgot to add in for the Spitfire, Spitfires had Hispano cannons. Germans had, this aircraft, had a machine gun, had 2 of them. 7.92 millimeter MG-17 machine guns in the forward, and then the MG-15 machine gun to the rear, and then it carried one 250 kilogram or 550 pound bomb, which is the big one beneath the fuselage, and then 4 110 pound bombs under the wings. So those were those 2 ones that you saw on the sides. And that is that. So, pretty interesting. Now let's get this bird in the sky and yeah, have some fun. Okay, so battery switch is right here on this little panel, and your avionics master is right there. Scroll down one and you'll find your starter switch right here. And it started up decently. It's also a pretty quiet plane. It sounds very quiet until you get it up, but once it starts going, it's going. So let's just get the flaps down. Okay, let's firewall the airplane up. So this thing will take off very quickly. I don't even think you usually have to pull up on the yoke, because look at that, already airborne. So it's a very, very fast takeoff in this plane. And it also handles decently well too. I'm not going to say it's the best handling plane on the planet, but it handles pretty well. And you can get up to a decent altitude very quickly in this plane. You do gotta set your trim for this guy, just because it's gonna pull up on you a lot. That's kind of the one thing I don't really like about the plane, is that when I just want to fly and just let the plane do its own thing, it's not gonna do that unless you set the pitch or whatever. You're gonna have to set your pitch when you're taking off, otherwise this thing's just gonna go frickin' spaceship status on you. So leveling the airplane out and just let it cruise along, that's not really going to work. This airplane also has a slight tendency to want to turn to the left a lot. So right now I'm not really touching the controls, but it'll sometimes try to veer to the left a lot sometimes. I don't know why. Probably because of that weight. But even then, that's still weird, because this weight would have been evened out and all that. So yeah, the airplane has a slight tendency to want to go to the left a lot. But you also get a crap ton of different variants of this plane from the Steam Workshop. So you got winter camouflage, Dunkirk camouflage, this one here, desert camo, all kinds of stuff. Would I recommend this plane if you're going to want to buy it? I'd only buy this plane if you're like me and love World War II airplanes, or like the classic stuff. Otherwise, you know what? You don't really got to waste your money on it. You know, you could probably get a better model or something like that from A2A. Because those guys have real good planes. The only problem is that they sell them for $50. So, you know, you get what you get for this thing, but this is only $10.99, so it's not that bad. I think we're at a decent altitude now that I can probably try out the siren so you guys can hear it. And there it is. So if you guys ever wondered what makes that sound, it's actually that little tiny fan, which is right there. And it makes that sound because when the airplane dives, it'll create that sound because it will spin, and it goes around a lot, but it actually kind of gave the airplane's stealth away, because even when it was just cruising, that thing would still go off, and it would annoy the crap out of people, and it would end up alerting other folks that, hey, that's a Stuka, they're coming in, get ready. So, you know, it wasn't that good of a device. It was used as a scare tactic at first, and then they realized, well, this thing is just giving us away, so they took it off on more modern models, and then forgot this whole siren thing. But yeah, this is the original variant, or just the type of, like this one, the first models, so that's why it still has its siren fan on there. But yeah, but it's still a good plane. If I'm going to recommend it, well, if I'm going to rate this out of 10, I'd probably say about an 8.5 out of 10. I mainly like the interior model and the outside. It's also not a confusing plane. Very easy to fly, actually. The instruments are not too hard to locate and all that kind of stuff, so you're good. Okay, so the cool thing also about this is that on this control panel, you'll have a bunch of different settings, and you can actually set a gun sight on here. Strobe lights and all that, I think that's your navigation lights. And that's a fuel flow indicator, but yeah, so you can get that. This lever right here is actually the bomb release thing. You can't drop bombs in this game. Kind of sucks, but you know, just letting you know that that is the bomb release lever, so that's what that does. In case anyone was wondering, that's what it does. I am also not really a fan of this tinted window stuff. It's just there, and it's just weird. The airplane does not need tinted windows for any kind of reason. Like, the airplane's just fine. Like, because look how clear that is, and then when you go into the cockpit, it's like you're looking for a pair of sunglasses. It's like, what? I'm cracking the cockpit. Canopy's open. Who cares, man? You gotta deal with that. It's just landing. So for landing, the airplane actually stops pretty quickly, I'm gonna say. Because this thing takes off so fast, you're not even going to have to push the nose down. It's just going to lift itself right up. Unlike the Spitfire, which has a bit more, you know, it takes a bit longer to take off. This thing just goes, man. Like, it feels like it's going to be a lot faster than it's intended to be. but it's not. It's really not. This thing is very slow compared to the Spitfire. Spitfire, you can beat this thing in a race easily. Spitfire will go 370 miles an hour. This thing can only go about 211, so, you know. But that's okay. It's a dive bomber. It doesn't need to go so fast. And we are down. Look how tall that thing is. Holy. Okay, another good thing about this thing is you can taxi with it. You can do that. You got a working tail wheel. Same thing with the Spitfire, so that's another good thing I like. And come to a stop. Awesome. By the way, that sound is just the flaps still coming up. I have no idea what that is. Okay, so you can turn your battery and all that off, and then all you gotta do is just shut the fuel mixture off and the engine will turn right off. Well guys, I hope that you did enjoy this quick little video of the Stuka. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe, and turn those post notifications on so you do not miss out on any new video coming out. I'll try to do a few more videos tomorrow. I get off of work early at 1:30, so you know what? I got time. So I'll see if I can make another video. I'll look into some of my aircraft around the dates and times. And yeah, but without further ado, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And I will talk to you on the next one. Take care.